Hey Lucia, thanks for joining us today. Can you
Hi.
introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Lucia. I'm originally from Spain. I came to the Netherlands around 6 years ago to do a master's degree in computer science. And right after, I started working for Info Support as a sort of software engineer, but specializing in data and AI applications. And well, since the whole agency path started, I've also worked as a data scientist at some of the projects there.
Nice. And I know you specialize in explainable AI. Can you explain why is it so important?
Yeah, sure. So the issue nowadays with AI is that we're mostly, companies or research is mostly focusing on complex models like deep learning models, or nowadays large language models that I think everyone has used or heard about. And the issue with these models is that they're so complex that we cannot know how they are inferring their predictions, like what rules they're following to give an output. So with explainable AI, we can try to break open that black box, so to say, to know, like at least to infer how these models are actually making their predictions.
And do you feel like companies have the right focus on explainable AI now?
To be honest, I don't think so. I can imagine that it varies a lot among companies. I think that companies just want to be maybe the first in solving a problem and just focus on the model itself, like having a model that's really high performing, and they're not really considering the implications of not making it explainable. Especially outside of Europe. I think in Europe, specifically within the European Union, that now since the beginning of this year, I believe, we have the AI Act in place, where they actually state in one of the articles that AI systems, or like high-risk AI systems, they must be explainable. So I'm hoping that now companies will be more focused on it. But yeah, till now I feel like the focus hasn't really been there. I believe that maybe companies where they're using very explicit AI models, such as OpenAI, Microsoft, like ChatGPT, everyone knows that that's an AI model. So for these sorts of companies, I think that they will focus more on it because everyone is aware, like all the regulators are aware. But for all the companies where they're using AI models without the end user knowing, so like more like implicit models, I think it's going to be trickier because, not even the user or regulators, they don't know that they're using AI. So I think that might take longer, but hopefully we'll get there.
You talked about implications. What are the implications when you don't have an explainable AI model?
Well, that's a good point. On one hand, we have the legal aspect, of course, the AI Act in the EU, but that's quite recent, so I don't think they even have like a proper process in place yet to sort of regulate that. But on the practical side, well, there have been a lot of cases, also well-known cases where models weren't explainable, and then they turned out to have really problematic outputs or really problematic biases. So I think for these sorts of models, it's really important that they are explainable, so that they can know in advance if there's some bias in the data or not before actually using it on real users. And especially, I would say, for maybe healthcare models, for instance, where it's really critical to know how, why a model is giving a certain output, because the lives of patients, like the lives of people, are at stake.
I can imagine. And so when companies want to implement explainable AI, do you have some practical tips?
I would say just start with the most basic techniques. Like, that's also the approach we follow at agency with the models themselves. Like, don't go for the most complex solution. Just maybe start with something basic and see if that already works for your data and your model. If not, just keep on making it, going a bit more in depth or making it more complex. I would mainly say that, but especially I would say it's not such a popular thing to do, but at agency we're more interested in interpretable AI, so not just like using explainable techniques on top of complex black box models, but trying to already use an interpretable model, because with that all the the challenges of like, should I apply explainability or not, or how do I do it, it goes away. Just the model is inherently explainable. It can be a bit challenging for specific problems where more complex models work best. But for, as I mentioned, like, we always try to use like the most simple solutions first and then see if it works. So if that works and it's an explainable, like an interpretable model, then that's much better, of course.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.